Why isn't it saying on? Here we are. Hi, this is Doug Crow with Author Your Brand, and we are on a Google Hangout tonight with a good friend of mine who is the author of Superhero Single Dad. Yes, he is a superhero and he is a single dad. But he's a former #1 trainer for Tony Robbins, and he's got some great stuff to share with us on languaging. We all think it's what you say or how you say it, and Kalani's going to talk a lot more about some in-depth things about way beyond just what you're saying and how you're saying it. So, Kalani, anything you want to share on who you are before we get into the topic?
Oh no, I'm just happy to be here. Thanks for having me here, Doug. Great. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here today.
Thank you. So, you mentioned before on this program tonight about superhero language. What does that mean?
Yes. Well, superhero language is the antithesis of supervillain language, because even the way we talk to ourselves, are we talking to ourselves and creating negative feelings and negative thoughts? And that really is not letting the superhero inside of us come out. That's where superhero language is very critical to talking to ourselves, but also to talking to someone else. If you're building a business or building your family, it's very, very important that you actually use superhero language to encourage that person and how to really attain their dreams and goals instead of putting them down all the time, right?
Okay, well that sounds like sort of obvious. Of course, I don't want to be a negative Nelly and say negative things. Can you give me an example of a subtle difference between, because you've told me several times, just changing one word to sentence can make a huge difference.
Well, one of the things I teach is actually something that a very, very successful businessman taught me. If you're building a company or building a team or building even your family, it talks about EPR, which stands for encouraging, praising, and recognizing. That's a language of greatness. When you use that type of language, you encourage, you praise, and recognize your family members, your son, your daughter, your wife even. You praise your team at work, your boss, and that goes a long way. You'll find yourself building a team pretty quickly, because how often do we get encouraged anymore? We don't. Because the fact is, most people are taught supervillain language. Supervillain language is DCP. You're discouraging people. You're criticizing them. You're putting them down. I mean, who here has ever been at work and your boss is putting you down and criticizing you? Sometimes the only time you recognize is when you're late, right? You're late, and you're not recognized for the work you're doing, because we all want to be encouraged. And so, because there's a great book out there called Recognition and Rewards. People will work harder for recognition than rewards. It's true. So if you want to build something long-lasting and build a fantastic company, I would use what's called EPR, encouraging, praising, and recognizing. If you do that, I'm telling you, you will be very successful in business and in life.
Okay. Can you give me an example of a phrase you might use when you're building a? Let's take it, turn it around. Let's say somebody's done something bad, either a child or one of your employees, and they've done that huge goof, and you don't want to say, "Hey, good job, buddy," when they didn't do a good job. How do you do constructive criticism, I guess, is my question.
Well, like for my kids, for example, when they're not doing well, like my son was not doing well at school. I have twins, and they're both 10 years old. My daughter is fantastic at math. She's incredible. It's very easy for her because she thinks that way. Where my son, well, he was having challenges in math, but that's okay. But what I was doing, instead of putting him down for the B or C, right? Instead of discouraging him or criticizing or putting him down, you say, "Son, it's okay. You know what? Maybe this is not. You just need a little more work. I'll work with you. I'll spend time with you," because that's the thing. I was encouraging him instead of saying, "You know what? How come you're not getting a good grade? How come you're not getting an A? How come you're not getting a B?" Of course, he already feels bad. So the question you want to ask, well, so what can you do to get a better grade? What can you do to maybe get on honor roll? And I'm happy to say he's on honor roll today. He's been on honor roll for the past year. It's because you encourage him, you praise him, you recognize him. Instead of telling him, because I'll give you an example. When I was little, in 8th grade, one time I brought home 5 A's and 1 B, right? I'm excited to show my parents my report card, but all my parents could say was, "What happened to the B?" No recognition, no rewards, nothing. And it killed me, it devastated me. Talk about taking any enthusiasm for school away. I was like, gosh, I just wanted some pat in the back. But I realized back then they didn't really know. They didn't know EPR. Who's taught that today? I'm very lucky I was taught that. Most people in the world, they know DCP. They're taught that at a very young age, and they continue as adults.
Wow. How old were you when they said that?
8th grade, so I must have been, what, 12, 13 years old, right? So think about it, 5 A's and 1B. And so that's what most people, they focus on the negative, focus on what the positive, right? So like even going back to my son, and he was bringing home, A's, B's, and C's, instead of focusing on the C's and B's, I focus, oh, great job in the A, great job in the A, I'm encouraging him, great, because why? I want more of that habit. So when he starts feeling good about the A, what does he do? He works hard on the other things. And today, he's an A and B student. He's phenomenal. Phenomenal. I mean, all through
I
words,
just find
all
it
through languaging.
right. I find it fascinating that for yourself and myself and whoever's watching this webinar, the same thing probably holds true. One word, one phrase, 25, 30 years ago,
Yep.
we remember like it's yesterday. It galvanizes us for the rest of our life.
Yep, exactly. Another story that I want to tell you, even when you're building a business, I was very fortunate to be very successful in a financial firm that I built. And I remember, one of my agents was talking about, my agents were sitting together talking about their parents. And some of my agents were saying, well, God, my parents were never there, right? I never saw them. And my other agent, he said, you know what? I don't know that feeling because my parents were always there, right? Because they're always there. So he didn't know that. I go, wow. When I heard that, Doug, I realized that's what I want my kids to say. I want them to say when they get older, Daddy was always there. Because it takes time. And once you take the time, if you have the right time, but now, remember, a lot of parents actually do spend time with their kids, but they're not saying the right language. Let me give you another example. Unfortunately, I was, my son's playing soccer, and unfortunately, the soccer coach was just, we're having dinner, and the soccer coach is yelling at his son. He's totally discouraging him, criticizing him, putting him down, telling him, because he's making fun of him because he's sensitive. And his other son is not sensitive. His other son is very outgoing, just like the dad, but the other son's more sensitive. That's okay, right? Instead of criticizing him, he was more emotional, but he was literally wanted to hit him because he was emotional. I was like, wow, and I just sat there, and my son was right next to me. Doug, it was like, we both looked at each other, oh my gosh, we felt so bad for that kid because I couldn't say anything as a dad because it's not my son, even though I wanted to. But all I said at the end, I encouraged that kid. I said, hey, it's okay, buddy. You're an awesome son. You're awesome. You're awesome. So we don't realize the language you use. So if you're listening to this, watch your DCP, your discouraging, criticizing, put down statements, because they will, like you said, last forever. Forever.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And how about this? On the other side, how often have there's that one teacher in life or that one friend that encourages for a day or just for that one statement they were there, and remember that for the rest of our lives too. So, I mean, one moment in time could really transform your business and your kid's life. It's amazing.
I was fortunate enough to take the Dale Carnegie course in human relations and public speaking years ago, and I remember reading that book and going through How to Win Friends, Influence People, and it talked a lot about encouraging words and not giving words of platitudes or insincere compliments. Compliments only work when they're sincere ones.
Yes, authentic. Yes.
So let's take an example of somebody who just really blew it at work, or a person who's not showing up, doing a bad job, blah, blah, and you have nothing to encourage them for authentically. What do you do?
Oh, I've had those situations where you're the owner of your company and you have employees who are not performing well, and the true sign of a leader is you have to have that hard conversation. You have to sit down with them and tell them and hold them accountable. But there's a way to do it though. There's a way to actually, you can hold them accountable, but also give them respect. And I can remember one day when I was with Tony, and Tony, we were having dinner after our event, the Competitive Edge, and we're all having dinner with him at night. And I remember how one of our trainers was actually being negative, at least to say. And I remember how Tony he ripped his heart out, right, but encouraged him at the same time. It was amazing.
Do you remember some of the words he used or how he did that?
He says, Jeff, he just felt fine. I know how you feel. I know how you feel. That's what I found. But I just want to let you realize I did do all this for you. I appreciate your hard work. I appreciate you giving up your life to be with me, to really help me with my seminar, and he was giving compliments. What the best thing to do in that situation, Doug, is it's called a sandwich. Is you do bun, meat, bun. You do the bun, you say compliment, and then you say the critique, then you end it with a compliment. It says bun, meat, bun. And that's the best way to do it, but it's got to be sincere, though, because everyone does have some good things about them. It might be hard to find them, but there always is something, right? So you do bun, meat, bun, and you'll go a long way with building somebody up. I mean, that's always the true side of a leader, is building somebody up, because that person that may work maybe never had encouragement. Who knows what they had in their home life? Who knows? Maybe they're being just broken down all the time, and this is just a pattern they're carrying over to work. You might be the first person to actually believe in them. They could make a difference in that kid's life forever. Right?
Wow. Right. How did you, I mean, just way back up, were you always so positive, encouraging? Was there a switch in your life where you used to use the super villain language?
Oh my gosh, oh yes, I used to use it all the time. And it wasn't until it was one day, I'm working out of my house, and my kids are 4 years old, and when you're in the house, you're on the phone doing your, because I'm working out of the house, and with your kids, if people have kids, when you're on the phone, that's when they want to talk to you. They don't want to talk to you when you're off the phone. They want to talk to you when you're on the phone. So here, my twins are 4 years old. I'm on the phone, and my daughter's trying to get my attention, and I'm like on a very important call, trying to close a deal, and she's asking for my attention, and I'm getting angrier and angrier. I'm getting like the Incredible Hulk. I'm getting green. I'm getting nasty because I want to focus my phone call, not on her question. And so but the longer I stay on the phone, the more she wants my attention. She's all happy and giddy. I don't know what she wants, but when I finally end up my phone call, I hang the phone up and I slammed it on the desk. I was so angry, and I started yelling at her. I'm like realizing, what do you want? I said, screaming top of my lungs. And I could see the fear in her eyes. And I go, what do you want? And all she said, Doug, Daddy, I just want to tell you the best daddy in the world. Oh my gosh, I was crushed. And I realized my gut feeling told me if I don't change my anger, if I don't change my language, she's going to marry a jerk just like me. Because I'm her example. If I'm putting her down all the time, if I'm discouraging her, criticizing her, that's the same man she's going to end up marrying. How about my son? If I do the same thing to my son, he might do it to his wife. Think about that for a minute. My son's going to treat his wife and his daughter the way I treat him, the language I treat him. And so this language pattern is bigger than you think. I mean, this is the difference of literally creating superheroes versus sometimes they might go to jail, right? Get arrested, get in trouble. Yeah.
Right.
And so languaging is huge. It's everything. Language, we always hear that statement, life and death is in the power of the tongue. It's so true. You create your life through the words you speak. Bottom line. Words are boomerangs. Whatever you say, you speak out loud, it comes back to you tenfold.
Right. So obviously this language works for employees or building any kind of business team and for kids. But I just want to take a quick sidestep here because I know, your book, Superhero Single Dad. What's up with that? Why'd you choose the superhero thing and the single dad thing?
Yeah, it's so interesting because, we're thinking different titles, and I just one day, there were so many titles we were actually trying to, use for this book, but nothing was hitting me. And I wanted to make the book something about who I was, how I was authentic to me. And I really, I love comic books. I've been collecting comic books since I was a little kid. I have thousands of comic books here in my house, in my library. And I realized, okay, my story is, I had made very successful, made tons of money, but I was away a lot. I was stressed out a lot. When I was home, I wasn't really present. I was actually at work. My mind was at work. But here I am trying to be a super dad, but I wasn't. I was actually the antithesis of that. And so when I actually lost a lot of my wealth, it was the best thing that ever happened, Doug, because that was like 6 years ago, and I actually was set free because I realized that time all the wealth that I had built was really to try and impress people. I was trying to impress people with, look at my car I drive, look at my house, look, right? It was so silly. Look at my suits, look at my tie. It was so dumb. right? Because I was addicted to other people's opinion about me. So I was trying to impress you. But when I could no longer afford to do that, it was the best thing that ever happened. Because like, wow, I don't need all these things to be happy. And so that's what the book is about. So what happened, Doug, is that superhero inside of me finally woke up and realized, you know what? I want to be an author. I want to be a speaker. I don't want to be a trainer. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm called to do. Because everyone on the planet, Doug, God has given you specific talents to influence the world. And the reason why most of us are not happy because we're not using those talents for what He wants us to do. And so finally, years later, I'm finally doing what I love to do. I'm so congruent, so authentic now because I'm finally at peace for who I am and what I want to do the rest of my life. It's fantastic. I have total clarity. We call it X-ray vision, right, for clarity. Once you get that, it's so simple to get on your path and just skyrocket after that.
Who's your favorite superhero?
Oh my gosh, dude. Well, I like
first one that comes to mind. Come on.
There's two of them actually. The Incredible Hulk because of his strength, but I also like Wolverine because Wolverine can heal very quickly. And the reason why he can heal very quickly because a lot of us we get hurt so fast, right? And we have this wound we carry on forever. Well, not Wolverine. He can heal very quickly and move on, which is phenomenal. And the Hulk, I like him a lot because we all have that. We all have that Hulk inside us that wants to get out and destroy and pound, right? And hurt somebody.
Right.
But here's the greatest thing. Once you can actually get control of that, Doug, it's amazing. Then you actually can forgive people, and once you forgive, you can let go of the past. You can not worry about the future, and you be fully present. When you're fully present, this is when the magic happens. When you get all these amazing ideas. When you meet people who are going to help you along your path. And so that's why we all have the Incredible Hulk, but if we can tame him, that's the thing. That's what can create massive success once we tame that anger issue.
Nice. You give some great examples of the empowering language. What you call ECP?
It's called EPR.
What is it?
EPR, encouraging, praising, or recognizing, versus the supervillain language is DCP, discouraging, criticizing, and put people down. How often do we do that? We do it all the time. And here's a crazy thing. Here's a scary thing. We don't even know it. Most of the time we're criticizing and putting people down. We don't even know it. Yeah. You're so used to the language. Right. Yes. Wow,
here's some good advice for you. I didn't ask, right?
Yeah.
So you get some great examples with kids on the EPR. Do you have any specific stories or examples in business, whether it's building a team or employee, where you use a certain language to affect a sale or say, hey, this turned this whole deal around?
Oh, yes. I mean, I can tell you just people. I mean, I was very fortunate to have mentors in my life. You know, when I was I think I was 18 years old, I had a commercial real estate broker believe in me, and he says, you know, Kalani, I'm going to take you under my wing. And he just said all these encouraging words. You know what? You could be a successful commercial real estate broker. You can become a millionaire. You could become successful. You could own properties. You could own this. You could do this. And I remember he was fantastic. I never heard those words before. You know, my parents they're awesome, right? They did some encouraging, but a lot of times they did also the DCP most of the time, unfortunately. But they're great people. They didn't know. When I had this person in my life encouraging me and recognizing me, man, within a couple of years, I was a top producing commercial real estate agent. I was selling apartment buildings and shopping centers. It was awesome. And here I am. I'm just a kid. All right?
How old were you?
Yeah. At that time, I was like 21, 22 years old. But because
you're buying shopping malls.
I'm selling shopping malls. Yeah, I actually ended up buying one, my first property at a young age, and it was crazy. I learned investments at a very young age. And I thought everyone was doing that, but no one was at that age, right? Mm-hmm. And so that languaging for me was very critical in my success here today. And now I use that forward now to build. If you're going to build a real estate company or a financial firm or a network marketing company, you have to use EPR with your team because most people don't get encouragement. So if you're the leader that exudes confidence and encouragement, oh my gosh, it's absolutely amazing what you can accomplish because it's true. I mean, I want to tell you a little story, Doug. Yeah. The story of the devil and the garage sale. You ever heard of that story?
Garage sale?
Yeah, the devil and garage sale. So
no, I want to hear this. I want to hear this for
sure. So the devil's having a garage sale, right? He's having a garage sale, And in the garage sale, you walk in the garage sale, the gentleman walks in the garage sale, and there's 4 tables, and each table has a box on the table. The first box, so the devil he's having a garage sale, he's selling all his tools for destruction, right? So the first box is, it's like a 3-foot box, and it says for sale. And in the box it says anger, and it says $1 million, right? He's selling anger for $1 million, and the guy, so the guy's trying to at the garage sale, he's like, well, what is in the other box? There's another box, a little smaller, right? And why is it $1 billion? He says, why is it so expensive? The box is even smaller. And he says, well, that's another tool that I use to destroy companies, to destroy families. I go, what is it? It's called greed. I go, wow, okay. Well, what's that other box? Is that box even smaller? Another table, right? And it's $1 trillion, Doug. And he says, what's that? What's that? And the devil says, that's my second most powerful tool. I go, what is it? It's called, for $1 trillion, I go, what is it? It's called envy. I go, whoa. And then, Doug, on the very corner of the garage, there's this little box, right? And it says, not for sale, it's priceless. And the gentleman asked him, well, what is in that box? He goes, no, I can't tell you what it is. It's my #1 tool to control human beings, to control mankind. I use this tool to destroy more dreams than anything. And that the gentleman asked, well, what is it? Well, it's called discouragement. Discouragement is the #1 tool the devil uses to take away our dreams, to take away our lifestyle, to take away our marriages, to take away our kids. It's true, because we speak discouragement all the time. And unfortunately, we were taught that. But you can break the pattern. The only thing I do is be aware of it. Here I go again. I'm speaking super villain language. Here I go again. But once you're aware of it, you'll be amazed. Oh my gosh. And then once you use superhero language, you're going to be amazed at the results you actually create in your life, especially with your family too.
So you've turned companies around. You started financial firms. You've been a single dad for 10 years. You use this language patterns in a broad spectrum of areas of your life.
Yep.
Do they intersect? Do they work together? Family and business?
Oh my gosh. After a while, it actually becomes part of you, who you are. And you'll find where you start making more friends. You start having more fun in life. You start getting invited to more parties. You start getting invited to more functions. You start getting invited to more mastermind groups. You start meeting more people who are influential, more people that are successful, but they also have the core value of also encouraging other people and helping other people. It's amazing. Once you resonate this EPR in your life, your whole life starts to resonate, encouraging and praising and recognizing other people that are just like that into your life. It's very interesting. But you got to be careful though, because once you are resonating that, you do attract the energy suckers. So you'll have more of those. But the thing is, you're more aware of who they are, and you can actually cut that off right away.
Right. Very cool. Well, I know you've turned companies around. You've started several financial firms, very successful with that. So I know you're like super busy, Kalani. But I know you also said you'd offer a little bit of a little consulting for some people out here. So I know you've got a thing you offered where you give somebody a half hour of your time with no restrictions whatsoever. It's like, I guess, like worth like $250 or something, right? For half hour.
Normally I charge, but for half hour, I normally charge about $500. But if you need some consulting, need some coaching, need some help, I'll definitely would love to do a 30-minute consultation at no cost for you guys. So just go to superherosingledad.com, send me an email there, or you can reach me. I'll give you my phone number. You can reach me at the area code is 949-933-6618. Once again, it's 949-933-6618, Doug. And also, you can go to superherosingledad.com. You can reach me there. So I would love to talk to you and help you with your business to get some clarity and also help you unleash that superhero inside of you.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I hope you can come back on again another time. I know you've got some guest blogging opportunities for some people, so I look forward to talking to you again. Thank you so much, Kalani. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day. Good evening.
You bet. Bye-bye.